main event of the afternoon is on the Speedway, the 100-lap regional race for the late model sportsman. We got a strong field of cars on the track. Steve, do I get to change my pick?
Oh, all right. Since your guy never even got a chance to qualify, we'll let you have another one.
I'll take his son. I'll take Brian Hoare.
You are on the record. I'll still stick with the 86 machine.
Let's take upset picks. My upset pick is Pat Corbett.
From the pole, huh? That'd be interesting. Tell you what, my upset pick will be right behind him on the starting grid, the 02 of New Hampshire competitor Randy Potter.
Oh, that would be an upset.
It sure would. Hey, you said an upset. How about a shocker?
All right, let's set the field for you. Pat Corbett is on the pole in the 5. Ron Lamel is on the outside in the 11. Inside row 2, it's Randy Potter in the 02. On the outside, Tracy Belrose in the 21. Back to row 3, Tom Tiller and Peter Fecto. Row 4, it's Steve Renadette and Lance Furno. Row 5, Dennis Demers and Dwayne Lanphier. Row 6, Ron Weston and Bucko Branham. Row 7, Chet DeVarney Jr. and Gary Caron. Row 8, it is Stacy Cahoon and Brent Dragon. Row 9, Phil Scott and Red Mead. Row 10, Beaver Dragon, Dave Whitcomb. 11, it is Gene Paul Sear and Jim Silly. Row 12, Chuck Beatty and Brian Hoare. Row 13, Danny Bridges, and I believe that is Ed Lockerbie on the outside. Yep. As the field rolls by, then we have Galen Wood and Joe Thomas, George Stone and Tim Patinka, Mark Lanphier and Dennis Caron. Then it's the 33 of Ed Lockerbie, Lonnie Lackalade, Norm Gay, Billy Fountain, and Tony Poisson. 100 laps. All the laps will be run under green flag conditions. Keep that in mind. Caution laps will not count. Field is together. They come out of 4. The Sunoco Regional 100 is underway. Pat Corbett out in front, down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. It is Randy Potter and Ron Lamel side by side as the field roars out of turn 4 to complete lap number 1. Ron Lamel tries to fight on the outside. Moving underneath, Tom Tiller in the 77. Lamel cuts it down in front of Steve Renadette. A lot of these drivers just trying to do whatever they can to get the car down to the inside. One of the cars stuck on the outside. Ron Lamel's going backwards. Tracy Lamel cuts it down in front of Peter Fecto. Tracy Belrose stuck on the outside. Gary Caron fighting his way along the outside. Brent Dragon stuck on the outside. Red Mead. All of those cars really struggling. There's Beaver Dragon and Dave Whitcomb as they run side by side down the backstretch. Dragon looks to make a move on the inside. Four strong runners right here. Beaver Dragon, Dave Whitcomb, Red Mead off the backstretch. Phil Scott almost got a taste of the airborne concrete down the front stretch that time by, but he managed to straighten the car out. The leader is the 5 of Pat Corbett. Randy Potter runs second in the 02. Third is Tom Tiller. Fourth right now is Steve Renadet in the 76. Running fifth, Peter Fecto. Ron Lamel is sixth. Lance Furno seventh. Dwayne Lanphier eighth. Dennis Demers ninth. Bucko Branham 10th. Ronnie Weston runs 11th, and it is Gary Caron 12th. 13th is Chet DeVarney. 14th is Brent Dragon. 15th, Tracy Belrose, rather. Here's your leader, Pat Corbett, quickly approaching lap traffic. Peter Fecto off the pace in between 3 and 4. And wouldn't you know it, looks like Peter Fecto has cut a tire. Nope, that's smoke coming out of the exhaust. That looks like he's lost the power plant. Pat Corbett. Potter. 77. Tiller. Steve Renadet runs fourth. Already Corbett is moving on lap traffic. George Stone in the 60s. Fifth is Ron Lamel. Sixth is Lance Furno. Seventh right now, Dwayne Lanphier. Eighth is Dennis Demers. Bucko Branham runs ninth. And 10th is Ron Weston. The leader's already into lap traffic. 3 wide out of 2. Tom Tiller looks to move underneath Potter, and he makes the move as Potter cuts it down in front of him. DeVarney Jr. works underneath Bucko Branham. Branham stuck on the outside. Beaver Dragon looks to move underneath as well. Branham is loose. Good job to save the car, but he's going to lose a lot of spots. The leader, Pat Corbett, putting a lap on Tony Poisson. Now about to put Ed Lockerbie a lap down. Next in line is the 50 of Norm Gay. Corbett leads it. Potter runs second. Third is Tiller. Renadette is fourth. Then it's the straightaway back to Ron Lamel. Lance Verno sixth. Dwayne Lanfear seventh. Dennis Demers eighth. Ninth, Ron Weston. And 10th is Brent Dragon. Beaver Dragon makes a move for 11th. They gets a piece of Gary Caron. Chet DeVarney looks to move underneath for 12th. Dave Whitcomb, Gene Paul Sayre, Danny Bridges running together into turn 3. Here's the leader, Pat Corbett, putting a lap on Lonnie Lackalade. Joe Thomas retires the 66. Corbett leads it. Looks to move underneath Mark Lamphy. Hey, touch. Corbett boxed in lap traffic. Belrose goes up high, and Corbett moves underneath. But that allows Randy Potter to close the gap into 3. It is Corbett, then Potter, third to Steve Renadette. Fourth, Tom Tiller. Fifth, running on the Speedway, Lance Verno. Sixth, Dennis Demers. Seventh is Brent Dragon. Eighth, Ron Lamel. Ninth, Dwayne Lanfear. And 10th is Beaver Dragon. Look out for the Beaver. He's really on the move. Look out! Yellow is out. As Dwayne Lanfear and Dave Whitcomb got together coming out of turn 4. Steve Hayes coming out of turn 4 that time. We were with them. Lanfear and Whitcomb contact. And that brings out the first yellow. 33 laps into this feature.
That's what I was going to say. We ran basically a third of the race before the first caution, and that put several automobiles a lap down by virtue of the long green flag.
Lance Verno is on pit road, and it looks like the 31 is overheating. Steam coming from under the hood on the 31 car. They got to give him some help to make it just to his pits.
And the pits are actually closed under the situation. He obviously, as a matter of fact, he's going behind the wall. Well, our long shot selections, which started first and third, haven't been doing too bad. They've been running first and second the whole race.
All right, let's set the field for you. Pat Corbett leads it, and he's flying. Second, Randy Potter. And again, he's doing a great job. Steve Renadette has run a quiet third, very consistent. And how about the job done by Tom Tiller? Tom Tiller right now sits in 4th. Looks like Bucko Branham wants to get into the pits as he is trying to get up on the pace car.
Yeah, Bucko was going back quite a bit there, the late stages of those laps, so I think he probably wants to go in and have some sort of work done to the 63 machine.
Branham pulls it on pit road, as does Chet DeVarney. Mark Lanfear, who's a lap down, is on pit road. Lonnie Lackalade, who's a lap down, is also on pit road. Norm Gay is on pit road. He, too, has gone a lap down early on. But we'll watch the 63 as he pulls it down into his pit, and they will go to work on that car.
Ed Lockerbie looks like he also wants to pit the 33 machine. Ed is one of those drivers that lost a lap.
Looks like they're going to take off the hood on the 63. Branham perhaps overheating. And Steve, I think that's going to be a big problem for a lot of these cars, overheating.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It is getting very hot. Let's remember, 33 laps of green really heats up those cars, especially if they're running nose to tail. So that probably will become a factor here very shortly. Tires, you know, these guys have 4 tires when they came in. They were marked. They're supposed to run the same 4 unless they flatten one. That will also play a big factor.
Branham and Lanfear, all the cars on pit road will make it back out. Ed Lockerbie has come onto pit road. Let's set the field for you with 34 complete. It's Pat Corbett and Randy Potter. Then Steve Renadette and Tom Tiller. Row 3 has 2 lap cars, Tony Poisson and Tracy Belrose. Running 5th is Dennis Demers. 6th is Brent Dragon. 7th is Ron Lamel. 8th is Ron Weston. 9th is Jim Silly. 10th, Beaver Dragon. 11th is Danny Bridges. 12th, Gene Paul Sear. Gary Caron runs 13th. 14th, and his car number, Phil Scott. 15th is Brian Hoare. Running 16th, it is the 91 of Billy Fountain. 17th is Red Mead. Chuck Beatty 18th, Dwayne Lanfear 19th, and Stacy Cahoon rounds out the top 20. Green is out once again. Belrose loose off a 2. Steve Renadette looks to move underneath Potter for second. Steve Renadette is second. Renadette set to chase the leader, Pat Corbett. Ron Weston working around the outside of Ron Lamel. Jim Silly follows down the backstretch. Tom Tiller off the backstretch. Tiller off the backstretch in the 77, refires the automobile. Now Corbett, Renadette, Potter, Dragon 4th, Dennis Demers 5th. Corbett a little bit loose off of 4 that time. Chet DeVarney Jr. parked off of turn 2. And I believe they'll throw the yellow for him this time by. Yellow is out. Yellow out once again as Chet DeVarney is parked off of turn 2, blocking the entrance to pit road. Actually, that's the usual pit road. Of course, they're using the pits in the infield for this race. But that time, Steve Hayes, during that last restart and the last few laps that have been run, it appears as though Corbett might be a little bit loose, especially off of turn 4.
It does appear that maybe those tires are already going away, and with 61 to go into green, not a good sign for Mr. Corbett in the 5. Should mention, it's 100 green flag laps, but you can still lose a lap. They will count the cautions, but they won't count toward the 100 of the green.
All right, with 39 laps complete, we'll take a break and we'll come back to Motorsports Magazine and the Regional 100. with 39 laps complete. Here's the way the field runs. Corbett leads it. Renadette is second. Brent Dragon third. Randy Potter fourth. Fifth is Dennis Demers. Sixth, Ron Weston. Seventh, Jim Silly. Eighth, Ron Lamel. Ninth, Danny Bridges. 10th, Beaver Dragon. 11th, Gene Paul Sear. 12th, Phil Scott. 13th. How about this for Billy Fountain? Remember, started next to the rear. 14th right now is Chuck Beatty, and 15th is Brian Hoare. Red Mead runs 16th. And we'll come out of turn 4 for a restart. Lonnie Lackalay spins it on the front stretch. He gets the car going once again. Brent Dragon looks to move underneath for second, and he does. Corbett leads it. Dragon is second. Beaver Dragon and Ron Lamel run side by side. Lamel on the inside. Dragon on the outside. Tries to battle. At the front, Brent Dragon trails by a car length. Corbett loose off of 4. I think it's only a matter of time before the Bill's Body Shop sponsored number 0 is in the top spot. Bridges is in trouble on the backstretch. He's cooked it. He is putting fluid down. Yellow is out. Danny Bridges cooks the power plant on the 9. And Bridges had been running real strong, Steve Hayes, but the power plant lights up in the 9.
I was looking right at the 9 machine when it went, and it went quick. And it's definitely turbulent on the 9 machine.
We're almost halfway through this 100-lap main event, and it's taken about 15 minutes to run 50 laps rather.
I'll tell you one car that's making a move. He started inside the last row. Billy Fountain started 35th. After 45 laps, he is up to 10th.
Steve, the heat obviously playing a factor with some of these engines. We've already seen 3 cars go to the pits with overheating, obvious overheating problems, as well as a couple of cars cook the power plants. You think that obviously is going to be a factor in this race, the heat on the driver and the car?
Well, almost guarantee the car's going to have trouble. The only car I can honestly say that might not have that problem is Corbett, because he's leading. He has an open track. But if you're running behind another car, not only does the temperature get to the engine, but the exhaust coming off the cars in front of you bothers the engine. As far as the driver, same thing. It gets very hot when you're behind an automobile.
45 laps complete as Danny Bridges has pulled the car onto pit road and doesn't look very good. We'll come back. You're watching Motorsports Magazine from Airborne. Here's the way they run with 45 complete. Pat Corbett leads it. Brent Dragon second. Steve Renadette runs third. Fourth, Dennis Demers. Fifth is Jim Silly. Sixth is Randy Potter. Seventh, Ron Weston. Eighth, Beaver Dragon. Ninth is Ron Lamel. 10th, Billy Fountain. 11th is Phil Scott. 12th, Chuck Beatty. Gene Paul Sear, 13th. Red Mead 14th, and Brian Hoare runs 15. They're the top 15 with 45 complete. Field comes flying out of 4. Green is out. Dragon looks to get the 0 down in front of Renadette down a backstretch. He does. Little bumper banging going on, and right around the 10th spot. Fountain's flying. Billy Fountain is flying. He's passing cars on the outside left and right. He just went around Lamell and Weston. 2 top quality cars. Corbett, Dragon, Renadette, Demers, Billy, Potter, Beaver Dragon, Billy Fountain, Ron Weston, and Ron Lamell. Red Mead is off the backstretch. To the inside of Corbett. Yellow is out. This will not count. Yellow is out. Red Mead parked on the backstretch. It will not count, is at the line. Pat Corbett still had the lead. And Steve Hayes, Brent Dragon was about to take over the lead, but the yellow flew just before Dragon took over the top spot, and he's going to have to do all that work all over again.
You got it. Corbett will be the leader on the restart, which means Brent will be once again on the outside groove. So it's not what Brent wants. It worked once. Can he pull it off twice?
Off of that last restart, Billy Fountain went by Ron Lamell, Ron Weston, not on the inside, Steve Hayes, but on the outside.
And, you know, I don't understand this because coming from 35th to 10th in less than 50 laps, he had to abuse those tires. But, boy, I don't know. Things are working well with a 91.
Right now he runs 8th on the field. "51 laps complete. And the order is this: Pat Corbett, Brent Dragon, row 1. Row 2, it's Steve Renadette, Dennis Demers. Row 3, Jim Silly and Beaver Dragon. Row 4, Randy Potter, Billy Fountain. The top 10 completed by Ron Weston and Gene Paul Sear. Running 11th right now behind the push truck is Ron Lamell. 12th is Brian Hoare. Phil Scott runs 13th, Chuck Beatty 14th. 15th is Dwayne Lanfear, Dave Whitcomb 16th, Dennis Caron 17th, Bucko Branham 18th, and Galen Wood runs 19th. Green is out of 4. Contact! Randy Potter spins. Yellow is out. Some good cars with heavy damage. Dennis Demers and Beaver Dragon under yellow.
Fans, you're not going to believe this, but the veteran Beaver Dragon never adhered to the caution, ran right clean in the back end of Dennis Demers. And those are 2 cars who were capable of winning this race. And they also competed against each other on the tour, Robbie.
Steve, I think there might have been some contact coming out of turn 4. And I think Beaver was in for a little payback on Demers.
I was just going to mention, I think Dennis got him the last time for that restart, but I wasn't sure. But I'll tell you, Beef came out of 4 and a yellow did not exist as far as he was concerned. Ran into the back end of Dennis, put it sideways, and for good measure, gave him another little shot.
Wow.
And like I say, they run against each other on the tour, so they see each other a lot of times each year.
Potter is on pit road.
Potter got collected big time by 2 or 3 automobiles. They probably are going to have to do a little work to that car.
Flat tire. They're changing the tire on the 02. Chuck Beatty is going to come into the pits. Phil Scott is on pit road. They go to work on that car. There's the damage on the 86 at Demers. It looks like he's going to stay out on the track. And Beaver Dragon looks like it's largely cosmetic, Steve, although they came together a pretty good rate of speed.
But notice something. I told you Beaver ran into the back end of Dennis. Right now, Beaver is 2 positions ahead of the 86. So somewhere along the line, they must have gotten out of order.
Well, all of a sudden, excuse me, after running 31 straight green flag laps, we've had a lot of cautions here. Field goes by, Potter's going to lose a lap.
I have to believe that right now tires are playing a part of this race, because not only some of these incidents, but these cars are definitely getting loose, and I had the stopwatch on, and they're getting slower and slower. Corbett is not going nearly as fast. He dropped about 3/4 of a second since the start of the race.
Phil Scott almost looks like a modified running out there. Has not lost a lap. Looks like he wants to come back in on pit road. He's going to pull up on the pace car, and Potter has pulled the car behind pit road.
Well, obviously 2 stories. Corbett started on the pole. He has never been worse than that in the first 52 laps. Billy found from 35th up to 5th. And of course the Demers Dragon incident.
All right, while they sort out the field, we'll take a break. You're watching Motorsports Magazine from Airborne. All right, we're set for a restart with 52 complete. Beaver Dragon has put the car behind pit road wall. He's done for the afternoon. There he is, parked. Dennis Demers still running out on the racetrack. Randy Potter is behind the wall. Pat Corbett still leads it. Brent Dragon second. Steve Renner at third. Fourth is Silly. Fifth, Billy Fountain. They're the top 5 with 52 complete. Top 5. Corbett, Dragon, Renadette, Silly, Fountain, Sear, Random back to 7th. Weston 8th, Dennis Kerr 9th, Ryan Hoare 10th. Lap traffic ahead. Out. Time parked up off of the second turn was Tom Tiller. So they throw the yellow for the Kentucky Colonel. And again, with 58 laps complete, we have another caution on the speedway. And Tiller did not lose a lap as they threw the caution just before the field passed the 77 car.
Lonnie Lackley ready to pit the 17 machine as he pulls the inside groove. Lackley a few laps down.
Steve Hayes, another car that's been on the move is Bucko Branham in the 63. Branham right now runs 7th, and he is a car who, since taking off the hood, has been on the move.
He won the first qualifier today after drawing the #1 pole position in the draw. And I'll tell you though, early on, that car was falling backwards very quickly, so I don't know what they did. Obviously, taking the hood off must have corrected any problems he had, because once the hood came off, the car moved up.
See Red Mead's car parked in the infield. A lot of cars, as we said before.
Attrition
overheating
is growing.
Yep. 58 laps complete. We'll go green once again. Steve Hayes. Galen Wood. Is Galen Wood running on the lead lap?
That's a very good question. I do not remember the 79 going to lap down, but it is possible. But if he did, he's only 1 down, that's for sure.
If he is on the lead lap right now, he's running 11th and doing a great job.
Tell you, he could have a good finish if he's on the lead lap.
Set for a restart, Corbett and Dragon. Fountain moves underneath Silly for 4th. Renadette looks to move underneath Dragon. Off the backstretch is Weston. Ron Weston off the backstretch. He gets drop kicked backwards. Bucko Branham up to 5th. 6th, Silly. Dennis Karen runs 7th. Gene Paul Sear runs 8th. Laps complete for Pat Corbett. He's led from start. Right up to lap 61. Car spun in turn 4. It's Gary Karen. And the yellow is out for Karen. Flat tire for Gary Karen. The left rear tire has gone down. And for a lot of these cars that have had to work their way to the front, these frequent yellows are just what the doctor ordered as the tires get a chance to cool down.
Absolutely. There is nothing better right now, no better remedy for those tires than to have a couple of caution flag laps and let the temperatures cool down just a little bit. Who would have thought, though, that the guy sitting on the pole would lead the first 62? It's not something you would be common or used to seeing, as Robbie raised his hand. I did. Tell you what, Red Dragon has had nothing for him. Renadette took a shot, but really didn't have much of an opening to go after him. Right now, Fountain Branham running 4th and 5th, but they have to get by those first 2, and that's not going to be an easy job.
Well, on this restart, Billy will be on the outside. Last restart, he was able to pick up a spot on Jim Silly, who was stuck on the outside. So,
as a matter of fact, Silly will be right behind Billy because Bucko Branham also got by Silly's number 68.
62 complete. We'll take a break. You're watching Motorsports Magazine from Airborne. .62 complete. It's Corbett and Dragon, Renadette and Fountain, Branham and Silly, Dennis Karen and Sear, Wood and Hoare. Green is out. Side by side. Now Branham looks to move underneath Fountain for 4th. Renadette looks to move underneath Dragon for 2nd. Renadette has taken over second. Dragon third. Billy Fountain stuck on the outside. Contact with Dennis Karen. He goes backwards. Gene Paul Sear moves underneath. Now Brian Hoare looks to move underneath Fountain. Disastrous restart for the 91 team. Corbett still leads it. Steve Renadette back in second. Brent Dragon third. Branham fourth, Karen fifth, Silly sixth, seventh Sear, and eighth Fountain. Brian Hoare runs ninth. The top three cars starting to pull away. Jim Silly looks to the inside of Dennis Karen. This time he's got him down the backstretch. 30 laps to go, 70 complete. Yellow is out. George Stone taking care of the mosquitoes on the backstretch.
George Stone is somewhere in the middle of that pile of smoke, we assure you. 60 car loses an engine, and that was right after the 77 of the Kentucky Colonel Tom Tiller got dumped up in 1 and 2, so Tiller getting a bit of a break there without losing a lap.
73 laps complete. Pat Corbett still leads it. Got 27 to hang on. Renadette this time will be on the outside in the restart. Brent Dragon runs third. Running fourth is Bucko Branham. Jim Silly fifth. Sixth, Gene Paul Sears. Seventh, Dennis Karen. Eighth, Billy Fountain. Disastrous restart that time for the Fountain team.
He lost about 4 or 5 positions by virtue of being stuck on the outside. There was nothing he could do. They all formed a single line to his left and went right on past.
All right, 73 down. We'll have a restart when we come back. You're watching Motorsports Magazine from Airborne. Here's the lineup with 73 complete. Pat Corbett, Steve Renadette, Brent Dragon third, Bucko Branham fourth, fifth, Jim Silly sixth is Gene Paul Sears, seventh is Dennis Karen, eighth, Billy Fountain, ninth, Brian Hoare, 10th, Dennis Demers, 11th is Galen Wood, great job, 12th, Ron Weston. Points leader Chuck Beatty runs 13th, Ron Lamel 14th, and 15th is Dave Whitcomb. Out of turn 4, the green is out once again. Dragging to the inside of Steve Renadette for second. Bound trying to work the outside, but I think the tires have had it. I think Billy worked that car so hard getting to the front and getting in contention that the tires have really gone away. Silly looks to the inside of Branham down the backstretch. This for fourth. Silly takes fourth. Now Bucko is stuck on the outside and going backwards. Finally able to, no! Yes, he finally is able to cut it down. Ron Weston drifts high. Galen Wood moves underneath. 77 complete. Corbett leads it. Dragon is second. Then it is 4 car lengths back to Steve Renadette. Lap traffic. Dragon looks to the inside of Corbett. He shuts the door quickly. Renadette third, fourth Silly, fifth Brian Hoare. Watch out for the 45, he's really on the move. To go for Pat Corbett. 80 laps complete. Be 81 this time by. Corbett, Dragon, Renadette, Silly, Hoare, Dennis Caron. Top 6 cars. Bucko runs 7th, Billy Fountain runs 8th, Dennis Demers 9th, Gene Paulsier 10th. Corbett loose off of 4. Dragging to the inside. No dice. There'll be 85 complete. 15 to go. Dragon appears to be the faster car, especially off of turn 4. Corbett has been drifting high off of this turn, and I think that's where Dragon's going to get him if he does. Renadette third, Silly fourth, Brian Hoare fifth. turn 3. Gets the car moving. Corbett loose off of 4. Third, Brian Hoare runs 5th. 4th is Jim Silly. So Rennet at 3rd, Silly 4th, Hoare 5th. Dragon to the inside. 93 complete. Coming up on lap traffic. For Pat Corbett. Heavy lap traffic in front. Lap traffic will play a factor. 4 to go. Corbett held up in lap traffic. 2 to go. White flag will fly for Pat Corbett. Come out of turn 4. Corbett can see the checkers. He wins it. Wire to wire. 6, Gene Paul Sear. 7th, Billy Fountain. 8th, Dennis Karen. 9th, to Dennis Demers. 10th, Ron Weston. Bucko Branham. 11th. Wow. Pat Corbett wires the field. 2nd to Brent Dragon. 3rd is Jim Silly. 4th, Steve Rennet. And 5th, Brian Hoare. But Corbett was a car who in the heat was flying Steve Hayes, and we knew he was a top contender.
Hey, very difficult to believe that in a 100-lap main event here, someone would go green to checkered, but the Fire Machine pulled it off. Pat Corbett, I'll tell you, he earned it, as Brent Dragon really gave him a bunch of competition late portions of that race. Polish victory lap courtesy of Pat Corbett.
Steve Hayes heard an interview with Pat Corbett earlier in the season, and he said one of the things he wanted to accomplish this year was pulling off a victory at Airborne. Can't pull off a much bigger victory than this one.
He picked a good day to do it with $2,000 going to the winner, that's for sure. Unfortunate for Pat, it's not one of those races that the winner gets to go for Oxford, so tough break there. But hey, I don't think he's thinking about that right now. $2,000 richer and a 5 victory for the Pie Machine.
There's Corbett getting out of the car. Third place, Jim Silly, car 68. Second place, Brent Dragon, car 0. And the winner, driver of car number 5, Pat Corbett. Great job. Stay with us, folks. The Street Stock main event highlights coming up next.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to another CVAC Varsity Boys Soccer Contest between the visiting Plattsburgh Hornets and the hometown NAC Bobcats. Starting for the Bobcats tonight on left wing, Tommy Matthews, right wing, Steve Chilton, center, Jason Moulton, center halfback, Eric Owens, left half, Sean Jeremias. I take that back. Nick Chase is on left half. Right half is Sean Jeremias. Fullbacks for the Bobcats, Jason Seguin, David Bushy, Anthony Seiferhill, and a stopper, Scott Schutz. And we're off. Early in the season, both clubs played to a 1-1 tie. Net for the night for the Bobcats is Chris Forkey. Headed out by David Bushy.
Come on, Jamie, gotta have you. Let the ball right all the time. Go, Stevie. Come on, get the ball through. Come on, Nick, go to it.
Got a trip on Anthony Seiferhill. Direct kick just outside the goal area. Seguin clears it out. Ball miskicked by Bushy, but he recovered. Owens on the right side. Lead pass up to Chilton on right wing. Out of bounds. Throw in for the Hornets. Up to Moynihan. Moynihan throwing the ball in for the Hornets. Up to Premore, number 10. Chilton with the ball. Chilton over to Moulton in the corner. Throw in for the Bobcats. Scott Schutz taking this throw in. Kind of hard to see the numbers on the Hornets jerseys. Moynihan trying to keep the ball in. Cross in front of the net.